Okay. What's going on, LBHT crew B? What is going on?
Adam Thielen show, I guess.
Gus Edwards show, I guess.
Yeah.
Listen, disappointing day. Not surprised at all, but especially if you're a Ravens fan, no moves were done. I was surprised no moves were done with the Panthers after all the talking they were doing. A day of failures. You see the title, okay? Failures. NFL trade deadline failures, meaning the Ravens and the Panthers. I'm sure there's some other teams that are disappointed about not making moves or the moves that were made. If you're a fan of another team, that made some moves or didn't make moves, let us know your biggest disappointment. Okay, what failures did your team make? Because that's all we have over here.
Yeah, don't come in here talking about what trades you're happy about. I get you banned real quick.
Yeah, blocked. Okay, we don't want all your happiness over here. Speaking of happiness, it's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Hope your week is going well, but if not, hopefully it gets better starting right now. We are streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. We're back on Twitch. Jay said it was safe. Now, if we get some sort of ban or something like that, I don't care. We weren't streaming on Twitch anyway. Yes, we're back on Twitch for now. They said it's safe to multi-stream again. So okay, for our 3 followers over there, welcome back. What's up? Okay,
We did it.
We did. Listen, we got some people that are getting in here already. Okay, hit that like button. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. Okay, because we got some goals to reach this year. All right, we're trying to hit 2,000 subscribers. So if you can help us out with that, that'd be greatly appreciated. All right, who's here? Look who's back on top. First, Mr. Bazel.
He's fighting ghosts in the chat there.
He says, terrible playing Wi-Fi and all. Take that, Shug.
Shug ain't even here.
He's letting them know. What's going on, Jeremy? Jeremy says, happy Wednesday. Hey, happy Wednesday to you. We got our guy Hendo from the Rogue Pod. Salute to you. Says, what's good, LBHT crew? It is the best time of the week. Hey, I appreciate that. Got our guy Buck in the house. Says, hey, crew. Hey, Buck.
What's up, Buck?
Thanks for coming through. Osmond in the house. What's going on? We got Living Big with Big Reg. Salute. Says, what's good, everybody? What's good with you, Big Reg? Just Aloe. What's going on? Just Aloe. Salute. Says EDC when it comes to improving the offense. I can't afford a whole running back. How about a rib? Hello, LBHT crew. Hey, hello to you, Just Aloe. Mr. Galloway in the house. Salute. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Mr. Galloway. We're going to be on his channel. When are we going to be on his channel?
November 14th.
November 14th. 2 weeks.
And I believe Mr. Galloway himself, along with Hendo, are going to be on Ferris's radio show tonight. I got something to say.
Nice. Okay, so KSFS Radio. There's an app. You can go and download that, and you can listen to that. That's where you can find Ferris on Wednesday nights. It's every Wednesday night, right?
And happy birthday to Ferris, too.
Yes, happy birthday, Ferris. Everybody give Ferris a warm, happy birthday, all right? He turns 20. Today,
or 93, we don't know.
Yeah, well, somewhere in between there. I don't know. I don't know.
It's one of them.
You know, it'd be a good birthday present for Ferris.
What's that?
Subscribing to the highlights. Okay,
that's true.
Go over there. Go over to Let's Get Ready Network, the highlights, and hit the subscribe button. That'd be a good present, a free present. He would greatly appreciate that.
And the Let's Get Ready Network, the entertainment network as well.
Yes. There's 2 of them. If you see 2 of them, click on both of them. You'll see them on both. All right. Who else we got in here? We got our guy, Coach. Coach is working. He's working overtime, man. He's growing his channel. All right. It's starting to take off. I'm very happy for him. All right. But we need to get Coach to 10,000 subscribers. All right. He's close. He needs, how many does he need? How many do you need, Coach? Like 1,400, something like that? 1,300? But let's close that gap. We're trying to get 10,000 by the end of the year. I know we can do it. Spread the word, ladies and gentlemen. Spread the word. Tell your friends and loved ones. One Sessions in the house says, what's up, LBHT crew? What's up, One Sessions? Appreciate you coming through. Salute. That Damn dub. Is that what that is? That
Yeah.
damn dub. That damn dub 20. Salute to you. Thanks for coming through. T Sizzle's in the house. What's going on, T Sizzle? Thanks for coming through. Danity says, hey, Twitch. Yeah, we're back. We're back. Our guy Rico in the house. Salute, Rico. Thanks for coming through. The 100 says, what up, fam? What's up with you? Alex Rita's in the house. Suge's in the house. What's going on, Suge? Thanks for coming through. He's over there on Twitch. See? They're back up. They're back up. All right. Who else is it in here? Marcus Payne's in here. Yes, he says, happy birthday, Ferris. Here, see, here goes the birthday love. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. There's the happy birthday love from everybody. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, that damn dude's giving his score for the Seahawks game already. All right. He says Ravens 26, Seahawks 16. I like that. D Weezy in the house. Salute to D Weezy. Says you can find a link to Ferris Radio Show in the Discord as well. Tell them how to. Oh, he meant find the Discord. Yes, you find the Discord. Thank you, D Weezy. You find a Discord on patreon.com/LBHTShow. All right. All you need is $5. That's it. Okay. You want to give more, you can give more. All right. All right. Okay. Gave all the shout outs here. All right. We have a lot to discuss. I didn't even put in the lineup the upcoming games because I'm so disgusted with our teams not making moves. I'm numb to it for the Ravens. The Panthers, I thought, they turned a new leaf and they're going to actually do something. So that disappointed me. So we have a lot to discuss. We're going to discuss some actual trades that have happened. Okay. We're going to discuss a firing, while you were sleeping firing, how do you get fired? How you get fired on your day off firing?
Yeah, I saw the notification when I woke up in the middle of the night, and I was like, I don't think so.
I saw it, and I was going to send you a tweet, but I was like, you're not going to get me this time, trolls, right? I said, let me check, make sure that's a verified account. Yeah, it was true. So yeah, a lot to discuss in the NBA. James Harden, the traveling man. Okay, he travels from city to city. He found himself in LA with the Clippers, and it doesn't seem like everybody on the team is too happy about that. From the clip that's floating around out there. But we're going to discuss that. All right, a lot to discuss. But first, we like to start every show with the Black History Fact. And not only does B have a Black History Fact for you, because you like the Black History Fact from last week so much, I think he has some more in store for you.
Again, just building things up, and I don't appreciate it. We do have another video. We're going to try to make that the regular thing moving forward. So I'm not going to really do much intro here. I'm just going to go ahead and play it as soon as you stop putting up comments.
Let's go.
Welcome to this week's LBHT Black History Fact. Today we are going to talk about Juan Garrido. Juan was the first recorded black man to set foot in what would become the United States. Juan was born in West Africa around 1480, but traveled to Portugal, changing his name and becoming Catholic, before beginning a career as a conquistador. In the early 1500s, he sailed to Hispaniola, then went on to raid Cuba and Puerto Rico before landing in Florida with Ponce de Leon. He then joined Cortés on a violent expedition to Mexico, where he eventually settled down, started a family, and became the first person to sow wheat in the Americas. Then, like a bad movie, he was lured out of retirement for one more score, stealing the wealth and resources of an island rumored to be run by a tribe of black Amazon women.
Take another step closer, and I'll kill you all.
Also, like a movie, the job was a bust, and Garrido spent his last days in Mexico poor and petitioning the King of Portugal for a pension to help sustain him and his family. Unfortunately for Juan Garrido, as is always the case, being the first black anything proved to be more novel than lucrative.
Another banger. Yes, and I'm glad D Weezy caught it. I'm glad he caught it. He said, did he really earn being Thanos like that? Yeah. Yeah, Juan Garrido was that dude. Okay. Salute to Juan. Yes, indeed. Yes. Killer Can says, mucho gusto. Salute, Killer. Ashvita says, bro, got the Infinity Gauntlet. Yep. Okay, you guys like that. I'm glad. That might be a regular. Stay tuned. All right. So, I want to start with the Panthers and their failure to get something done because they didn't come out and officially state it, but they said it through their channels. All kinds of information is leaked out there, and they've been it's been leaked for a while, saying, hey, the Panthers are looking to make something, make a move before the trade deadline. They recognize they have to get better in certain areas, and they're being aggressive. And I think that word was used, aggressive. They're being aggressive in making a trade, right? So what happened?
Well, look, there weren't a whole lot of impact wide receivers available, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Raiders have said a few times that they were not moving Devontae Adams, and I wouldn't have been super thrilled with. I mean, I like Devontae Adams. Obviously, he's a great wide receiver, but I would have preferred someone younger. I don't think that there was much chance of Tampa Bay trading Mike Evans in division to Carolina because NFL teams don't typically like to do that. Jerry Jeudy, the Broncos keep on telling everybody how much they don't like Jerry Jeudy and don't want him around, and then act like he's the second coming of Jerry Rice, and they just keep overpricing him, and so he never gets moved. That it's disappointing, and I just don't think that Cincinnati was thinking about moving T. Higgins at this point. They're going to try and make their run and then see what happens in the offseason.
Yes.
What was even more disappointing than them not getting any kind of a deal done to help the wide receiving crew was them not being able to move any of their own players to try and get some more draft picks, since they gave their draft picks away to move up and get Bryce Young. Terrace Marshall was available. I mean, I know he doesn't have a whole lot of value, right? But Jeremy Chin was available, and yes, he injured himself, and that I'm sure that played a major role in why he wasn't moved. But at this point, if you're not interested in signing Brian Burns long term, they should have been looking to see what they could get for him. Now, you're probably not going to get the offer that they got before, which was 2 firsts and a third from the Rams, which they should have taken at the time. But if you say no to that deal, then just go ahead and sign him, right? But they're not doing that either. So it's kind of confusing as to what their plans are with Brian Burns. It looks like they're just going to be going into the offseason and franchising him and just kind of, letting things fall where they may. I don't like that approach. I prefer them to be aggressive and either get the deal done or get him moved and recoup some assets and start to rebuild. But I thought that they could have found somebody to dump some of those players on that they didn't want around.
Well, I want to go back to what you said there, because I agree. Like, for me, franchise tag, that's not an option, man. Like, you can't have your money tied up when you have moves that you need to be making in the offseason, right? Because I mean, unless you really hit on the draft, right, on some of these late picks, your free agency is where you're going to get better, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can't have that money tied up on a franchise tag for a player that you should have either been gotten rid of or been signed. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right. This
the other
go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was thinking the other part of it, like you mentioned, they don't have their first round pick. So that's why they got to hit on later picks. I mean, they have to hit on their second round pick this year, right? They drafted Terrace Marshall in the second. They drafted Jonathan Mingo in the second. Marshall obviously hasn't panned out. Mingo is obviously very young, so we'll see there. But they can't afford to miss on another second round pick, which is why I thought, hey, take that pick and go get somebody who can play. But they're taking the other route, going into the draft with, I think, a GM and Scott Fitterer who not a lot of people have very much confidence in at this point.
Yeah, and why would you? I mean, why would you? If he's given up a lot of assets to bring underwhelming performers here, and times like this where you have to get a deal done. I mean, look, there are players out there to be had for the picks that you had. I mean, my God, man, Chase Young went for a 3rd round pick.
Yeah,
and that's not necessarily what I mean. Yes, you need help on defense too, but if you was wanting to focus on offense, the one guy that stood out to me for you guys and for the Ravens was that guard from Minnesota. Is it Cleveland? Ezra Cleveland?
Yeah, Ezra Cleveland.
They say he's one of the better guards in the league. I can't remember what he went for.
It was a day 3 pick. And look, I don't, I'm not too upset about that. I think Carolina has the talent on the O-line. They're just very young and they've had some injuries, particularly to the interior. So I think that they can kind of sit back and say, yeah, we'll be fine there. They need a left tackle, apparently. pretty badly, apparently. I mean, but yeah, Baltimore should have been calling on that one.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. It was rumored that Darnell Mooney, was being shopped. Right. So that'd have been another option for you. I mean, I just I didn't like for a team that has been talking since early in the season that they're going to be aggressive in making a trade or two to do absolutely nothing. I just don't like it. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know. Like not Chase Young. Bryce Young he desperately needs help on that O-line. All right.
Yeah.
Like he played a very good game last week, but he was getting beat up back there.
Yeah. I believe he ended up getting sacked. I want to say it was like 6 times. And Ngannou is a menace, not in a good way. Like he's. I said on Monday, he's getting run over, run around, run through, like everything. It's all bad for Ngannou right now. They use the top 10 pick on him, and you kind of you got to hope that he can turn it around. But I mean, the way he's looking at the moment doesn't look like it. But we'll see. He is still very young, so I mean, obviously, you're not going to give up on him just yet. It's disappointing because they did pass on better tackles to take him. They could have had Rashawn Slater. I believe Charles Cross went after him as well. The guy who went to Seattle, I'm pretty sure. But we're here now, so we gotta hope he can turn it around. I know that the O-line coach did a good job last year, and they're having trouble right now. But you gotta have faith that they can get it turned around.
Yeah. What's going on, Mikey? He says, yo, your boy over on the book. Salute to our brother OTR Mike, man. Thanks for coming through. Garnett, what's going on? It's hard for the horrible grammar. Oh, okay, I see. He says, first of all, good evening, fellas. Second, the Panthers should have went after the guard. Rookie deal allows you to mess around.
Yeah, I mean, look, I hear what you're saying, Garnett, but I think that they feel like they're probably good at guard. And just they need to let Austin Corbett just came back.
Yeah,
Brady Christensen's hurt. They just drafted Chandler Zavala, so I feel like they probably think they're good there, and they just kind of need to get healthy and develop a bit. And I'm okay with that. That's okay. I'm not okay with DJ Chark and Terrace Marshall. Might be it.
But you know what? I know it's hard to trade for tackles. But for as bad as Ngannou was playing, you can get a veteran out there, like a backup veteran or something like that. That has to be better than Ngannou.
I mean, they could have gone and signed Lyle Collins, and threw him back at left tackle to do this.
He wouldn't have been this bad.
Yeah, so I think that they're looking at the team and saying we were 0-6. Doesn't really matter. Like, we're not competing this year, so it doesn't really matter. We'll go through it. We'll keep our assets, and then we'll try and turn it around in the off season. Yeah,
I don't like that. Like you're still competing, and that division, you're only 3 games behind. You know that?
No, it's crazy. The
division, like that's what I'm saying. Like, you're only 3 games behind. You could have easily had 2 more wins right now.
Division is terrible, and Taylor Heineke just took over one of the teams. So
yes. So I mean, you should not be thinking like that. You don't have a first round pick, so you're not tanking for anything. You're only 3 games out, and you can make those up, no problem, right? If you had made the right moves, But I mean, you still can. You and I think they were going to win the next 3 games. Okay, they won the first game. We think they're going to win 2, the next 2, and then we'll see after that. After these next 2 weeks, they could be 1 game behind.
Right. they could, but yeah, that's I'm not super upset about it. Like I wanted them to go get a wide receiver. They need to get a wide receiver to get the offense going, because it can't just be Adam Thielen. It really can't. Adam Thielen is playing his heart out, but his heart is like 33. So it's not great. But they need somebody else out there. But like I said, I'm kind of more disappointed that they weren't able to get any picks coming back in for any of those players. I mean, Terrace Marshall was a 2nd-round pick a couple years ago. You couldn't convince anybody to take a shot on him. Nobody. I mean, I guess.
That's not fit of a strong point. What's going on, Kimberly? Thanks for coming through.
What's up, Kimberly?
Alex Reeder said the same thing. Taylor Heineke taking over a team is not a sentence I expected to hear in 2023.
Well, I've been telling you since preseason, Alex. I mean, I was a few weeks off. I said he was going to take over by week 6, but I mean, Desmond Ridder wasn't going to be their starter in week 18.
No. Weezy said a trade and extension for Higgins would have been a dream. Now, this is, look, Higgins, I think, is going to be available in the offseason. I don't think they're going to bring him back, but I get it for Cincinnati. They've been to the Super Bowl already. They were in the AFC Championship game last year, right? And they started out bad, but Burrow was healthy now, and they're getting back on track. I can understand why they're like, no, we'll keep him here. Let's try to make another run. Now, had they lost a couple more games, and looked like their season was kind of derailed early, I could see them saying, let's just trade them now, because we got kind of a steep hole to climb out of. But, they won the last couple of games. So they're like, hey, team's looking good. Let's just keep it going. I get that.
Yeah, no, I understand them holding on to T. Higgins. Hopefully Carolina is as aggressive as in the offseason as they were pretending they were going to be at the trade deadline. What I don't understand is this. A team who was said to be monitoring the running back, edge rusher, and wide receiver markets struck out on all 3, despite an edge rusher who was a top 5 pick going for a late 3rd.
Yeah. Haunted S'mores. What's going on? Thanks for coming through, man. Yeah, all right. Listen. I gave you this analogy off air, okay? Because me and B are boxing fans. In case you don't know, Ring Kings podcast. Make sure you go subscribe over there. We just put out an episode, right? But in boxing and MMA, right? You have fights, and when a fighter is out there losing rounds, he's not. He may not be getting beat around the the ring. It may not be completely one-sided, but he's losing rounds. Losing rounds meaning he's not active enough. The other guy's more active. He's landing more shots, right? And then when you get to like 5th, 6th round, the coach starts telling you, "Look, man, you have to do something out there. Like this guy's stealing these rounds. Like you're losing these rounds. You're not active enough out there. You have to go out there and do something, right?" Then you get to the late rounds where now your coach is pleading like, "Listen, man, you have to let your hands go."
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what the F is wrong with you moment in the fight.
Yes. If you watch the Spence and Crawford fight, like we did, you watch our boy get pummeled, right? Derrick James was very expressive. He's like, you gotta hit him. You gotta go, right? He's frustrated because like everything that we worked on, you're not doing it, right? Let your hands fly. Don't worry about getting hit. Like that's part of the fight game. Okay. You get hit sometimes, but you gotta do some hitting too.
Yeah.
This is how I describe Eric DaCosta. This is my frustration with Eric DaCosta, right? We all believe he's capable. I believe he's capable. At least I used to believe he was capable. I thought he was going to be one of the better GMs in the league. But every year he's not making a trade, and we make an excuse. Oh, well, because, that pick wasn't worth it, or we were close, but, so-and-so got him, or we tried and we couldn't get a deal done. And in a vacuum, that sounds fine. But we're in the late rounds now, and we've been losing a lot of rounds. Okay. The other teams are stealing these rounds from us, and you have to go out there and do something now, EDC. Okay. Your Super Bowl window is now, right? You don't want that to close and have these missed opportunities because you didn't want to give up a 3rd round pick for Derrick Henry, or you didn't want to give up a 2nd round pick for Josh Jacobs. The most ridiculous thing I see going out there right now on Twitter is Josh Jacobs isn't worth a 2nd round pick. The hell are you talking about? We drafted J.K. Dobbins in the 2nd round. Everybody loved the pick at that time. Mm-hmm. Josh Jacobs is way better than J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah.
Right. And I like J.K. Dobbins. Don't get it twisted. Jacobs is a better running back, hands down. He does it all.
There's a reason that the 49ers, who already had probably the best front in the league, went ahead and added Randy Gregory and then added Chase Young via trade, right? And it's because they know that their team is too good for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th round picks to come in and make any impact at all. Mm-hmm. The problem is that's also true in Baltimore, but they don't know it.
Right.
Right. That's why, Pepe Williams, Jalen Armour-Davis, the Charlie Kohler, Isaiah Likely, these guys that get drafted in these middle to late rounds who everybody gets all excited about never end up contributing because the Ravens are too good. They have players in front because they like to go for veterans. Those guys don't ever get on the field, and so there's no point in drafting them. You always like to have younger, cheaper players. You always want to try and get better if you see prospects that you think can eventually develop into a starter for you. But, I think a lot of people, because of the way coverage is of the NFL now, where it's all about efficiency and looking to build long-term, a lot of people forget that the only point is to win a Super Bowl. And to win a Super Bowl, it's there's some luck involved, but it's also about timing, right? And you can sit there and say, hey, Derrick Henry, he's turning 30 in January. He's probably going to hit a decline. We can get a running back in the 3rd round next year who will be here for longer, be a more productive Raven. Cool. But you're playing for a Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
You don't have that guy this year. And if you had Derrick Henry this year, that increases your chances of winning. Yeah. Right. DeAndre Hopkins, maybe he's not worth a 2 or 3 year deal. Maybe he hits a decline and you don't want to pay him all that money. He's worth it this year. Right. And when you go and draft a receiver, like you went and drafted Zay Flowers in the 1st round, right? He looks good. He looks like he got a lot of potential. He's not ready to be the man right now. And you need somebody to be the man right now.
So here's the problem I have, right, with the way people do math with players, because they'll look at it and say, he's not worth that money. Odell, he's getting 17 mil. He's not worth that. He's declining, right? I'm not even mad at them for getting Odell. I'm just mad that they didn't go all out and get Hopkins too, right? I tend to agree with Coach Evans. I think Odell will start to turn it on towards the end of the season when we need him. I think we'll be fine there, but get more. Right, like people will look at a player when we think he's going to start declining, hit his decline, and we got to pay him all this money, and it ain't worth it. But you won't look at the players that we're getting from the clearance rack, right, and say that's not worth it either, because going to get Des Bryant isn't worth it, right? Well, we paid nothing for him. But we wasted a bunch of time, right? We drafted Miles Boykin. Cool. We thought he's going to turn into something. He didn't turn into anything. Well, we got Prochet, we got Duvernay, we got Chris. Cover your ears, Chris, if you're watching. We got Tylan Wallace. We got all of these wide receivers, and we're saying, hey, these guys, we just got to let them play. We let them play, and they can't play. So what did we waste? We wasted 5 years. I would rather waste $17, $20 million on a player than 5 years, right? of our Super Bowl window. Like, time is more valuable here. Okay, go out there and spend the money. It's not your money, it's the player's money.
Yeah,
right. That's not coming from the owner. That's coming from the players pool. So spend some money. Stop hoarding it and thinking that your team is better because you're being frugal. That doesn't equate to talent on the football field. Well, what you reading, B?
I'm reading on that kind of, justify the Ravens' inaction. We're not talking just specifically about Josh Jacobs or Derrick Henry, Garnett. That's the thing. It's a mindset of the Ravens. Yeah, I mean, if you sit there and you say, "Man, I don't think Derrick Henry can play," obviously you're not going to trade for him. But
I want you to finish your thought, but because I see what he's saying here. He said, I see both sides of the fence. It all depends on how you feel about Josh Jacobs or Derrick Henry. You better feel better about those guys than Gus Edwards. Because if you don't, then I got to question your evaluation.
Well, yeah, but as I'm saying, it's not. Obviously, if you don't like a player, you're not going to trade for him. Like that's not the issue. The Ravens know those guys are better than Gus Edwards. That's why they were calling. They didn't say, you know what, we don't feel really good about Josh Jacobs. We don't really think Derrick Henry has it. Let's call and try and make a deal. They know those guys are better than the running backs that they have on the team. They just, they and this isn't just the Ravens. This is a lot of teams in the league. They like to feel like they're winning the deal, and even if it comes at the expense of them just not getting the player. And that's why we always criticize them, like with compensatory picks and whatnot. Like you get too compartmentalized. You get too focused on just that. Like, oh, well, hey, we can get a player who's a little bit worse later and get a compensatory pick, or we can get the better player now. Let's take the player and the pick. No, take the better player. Because once you get to the season, you need the better player. Yeah. Right? Once you get to the playoffs, you're going to hate Gus Edwards. You're going to hate him. All right, and it's not going to be his fault. He's not a starting running back. He's not a guy who offenses should be leaning on, but that's where you're going now, right? And the other option, please don't come back and tell me you're going to lean on the undrafted rookie who weighs 130 pounds and got injured on his first touch in the NFL. I want all the best things for Keaton Mitchell. You don't know that he's anything. You don't know that he can contribute at all to this team.
Well, that's the other thing too, right? I like believing in our players. I like hoping for the best for our players. That's not good enough, right? I can sit here and say, hey, I think Keaton Mitchell is going to turn out to be a really good running back, and still get Saquon Barkley because I know he's a really good running back.
Yeah, that's
how we have to be. That's the mentality we have to be in. We can't sit here and rely on guys and project greatness on these players that haven't proven anything. That's not how you win. And we've proven that. We haven't won, right? For as much credit as people want to give us, and we get a lot of praise because we're held up there on this pedestal as this one of the top organizations, and they don't have too many losing seasons, and look at some of these other teams. I don't care about these other teams. Don't compare us to the Falcons. Don't compare us to the Commanders. Okay? Those are bad teams. We're supposed to be a good team. And as a good team, I want to win.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I don't think Chiefs fans, after they lost to the Broncos last weekend, said, well, hey, I mean, I guess it could be worse. We could be the Cardinals. I don't think they're saying that. I don't think Bills fans are saying that either. And they haven't won anything, but they're trying to win.
Garner says you blow a second and then you feel like you have to pay for a rental, and then you get mad at yourself when you can't get the pieces you need to protect your quarterback or fix your defense. All right, first off, you're not blowing a second. You're trading a second for a proven player. Second, you're not fixing your defense. You have the top defense in the league, so that's not an issue. Third, when you talk about protecting your quarterback, you don't do that anyway. Like they're not making these kind of deals. They're not going out and getting the talent. They're not getting the Derrick Henry, the Josh Jacobs. They're not trading for the receiver. They're not going after Brian Burns. And your quarterback still isn't protected. So
Fourth, when was the last time we didn't blow our second round pick?
Right. I mean, no. Recently, they have had a couple of decent second round picks recently.
Who?
I mean, I think J.K. Dobbins was a blown pick, but that's not because of the talent of the player. Right?
No, he's a talented player. Outside of J.K. Dobbins,
Tyus Bowser was a good second round pick. He's also hurt.
That was what 6 years ago.
6 years ago, but yes, he's also hurt. But before that, it was a long string of blown second round picks.
That's what I'm saying. Tyus Bowser. That was before EDC became general manager.
Hey Garnett, what does this have to do with anything?
24 free agents, majority
of defense. What? So what?
I understand.
What are you talking about, Garnett?
I don't know. But second round picks, we blow our second round picks when we make the pick because EDC does not do a good job drafting. Like he doesn't. Like, I mean, tell me, out of all the picks that he's had, I think we counted them up before. It's like over 40 picks, right? Close to 50 picks he's had. The time he's been GM, who's been the guy that you're like, man, that dude's a dog?
Right.
How many? I want you to tell me how many of those guys you're just like, whew, boy, man, he nailed it. How many of those guys we look at and say, man, he's as good as Micah Parsons, or man, like he's just as good as Jamar Chase, or something even close to that, or Devontae Smith, or anybody. Give me the name. Give me the name of the player that you look at and say, that guy, man, EDC really hit on that pick. That's all I need. That's all I need you to say, right? There isn't one. There's guys that we say, oh, he's going to be that. Oh, you gotta give him time. Oh, you gotta give him time, right? The closest that we have to that is Patrick Queen, and y'all don't even want to pay Patrick Queen.
Yeah, and I can name you a guy who they could have had in the second round was George Pickens, but they didn't. They took Ojabo.
Linderbaum, I do like Linderbaum. Hontus Morris. I like, but again, it's a little bit more projection on my part, right? I mean, he's played well. But he's not. I mean, is he a top center already? Like we're projecting a little early, but I do like Linderbaum a lot, and that's great. I can say, hey, Linderbaum, really good player, excellent pick. What about the other 45 picks you made? Who else? Isaiah Likely. Like it's just, I mean, Kyle Hamilton. I like Kyle Hamilton. I think he's playing well.
Yeah, he's playing fine. Like I said, I understand what they're doing currently and foreshadowing. Everybody has free agents, Garnett. How many key free agents do they have? Like you can't look at next year and say, hey, we got a lot of mediocre players coming up on contracts, so let's not get good players now.
Yeah, no, that doesn't help the team now, right? And when we get to the playoffs and we don't have the talent and we lose to a more talented team or a lesser talented team because we're just not prepared and we don't have the talent to overcome John Harbaugh's coaching, you're not going to be sitting there saying, man, at least we saved ourselves some money. At least we had that second round pick, right, guys? Nobody's going to be saying that. Yeah. Everybody's going to be saying, hey, we need to get better at running back. We need to get some talent. We say that every year. After we lose in the playoffs or we miss the playoffs, we say, we got to get some talent here. We got to get some better players, right? And then the cycle continues again because when EDC doesn't get you those players, right, you had the gatekeepers out there that explain to you why that was a good move, right? Oh, that guy actually wasn't worth it, and then be like, oh yeah, that's right. He wasn't worth it. You don't want to spend money. You got, you can't just blow your money on players like that. Like
my favorite one is, and I saw it again. This isn't Madden. Let's be realistic. This isn't Madden, but the 49ers got Nick Bosa and Chase Young and Eric Armstead and Javon Hargrave and Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw and Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey. But it's not Madden. I mean, the Eagles drafted Devontae Smith and followed that up with trading for AJ Brown, who had 6 or 7 straight games of 125 plus yards. It's not Madden. And then they went and they got Kevin Byard, but it's not Madden. All right. You can't possibly get multiple good players on the same team. What are you even talking about?
I'm asking for one player.
Like, could you imagine if a team was out there and they try to tell you they could get, like, I don't know, Pat Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and Chris Jones on the same roster? That's stupid.
Yeah, this ain't Madden.
Dumb.
We're asking for a running back, the easiest position to get.
Yes.
And they're like, I mean, second round pick. What do you think we are over here? And again, not a high second round pick, a low second round pick. So closer to a third round than it is a second round.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're talking about here. Of course, they're going to ask for that for Josh Jacobs. And of course, you should be able to give that up. Like, what are we talking about? That low second round pick. How many guys, I just want to know, how many guys think we're going to do something with that pick? Like, that pick's going to turn this to anything based off our draft history under EDC. How many of you guys think, EDC is going to hit on that pick? I had no faith in him.
No, not really. Other people had faith in the GM, though. Like we mentioned, Chase Young was traded from Washington to the San Francisco 49ers for a third-round pick. The Commanders also traded their other edge rusher, Montez Sweat, to the Chicago Bears for a second-round pick. So they are firmly in the we're done, let's start over phase of things, which I got to ask you, why wouldn't you, after you saw that, why wouldn't you call them and ask about Terry McLaurin or Curtis Samuel or I mean, I don't think that they would move Jahan Dotson, but they're quitting. Terry McLaurin's like 28, probably not in the plans for a long-term rebuild. Call him and ask him. Just see.
I see this too, Garnett. He says, I see us flipping the second round pick for more picks, which is why it's a terrible move. And what do you think the team's going to do with those picks?
Yeah, you're gonna draft multiple guys in the fourth round. They're gonna play next year. They're gonna suck, and you're gonna say we got to replace all these guys. Mm-hmm. And you're gonna go out and you're gonna sign veterans. They're gonna sit the bench, and then you're gonna say, why aren't so and so playing? And then a couple years later, they'll get on the field. They'll look pretty decent, and they'll leave in free agency.
Hold on, 9 people in here. Go ahead and hit that like button. If you're new, hit the subscribe button. All right. Look, the chat is active, man. We can't get to all your comments, but if you need your comment to be read, if you have to have it be read, okay, there are 2 ways we do super chat over here. One is right below B, $ LBHTShow. That is the Cash App. Also, that pin link that you see in the chat box will take you to our Stream Elements page. Both ways, you leave your donation, leave your comment, you get a nice little animation right there. Microphone Man will salute you in honor of your donation. Okay. Yes, $ LBHTShow. Thank you, Danity. I appreciate that. And it's funny, right? Because people think we're hard on this team, but we're always the first ones when people start complaining about players to say, you got to let them play. The perfect example is Brandon Stevens, right? It's like you drafted a running back so he could play corner, and then you made him a safety, right? And then back to corner, and people are like, he sucks.
Yeah.
He can't cover anybody. He was a running back in college. Give him some time, and he's starting to play better now.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys don't want that right now. Right now. You don't want let's wait. You want him to play well right now. You want the Tariq Woolen type of player. Somebody we draft late and can turn into a Pro Bowler instantly. Well, I hate to tell you guys, EDC ain't got it like that.
Look, the Seahawks GM ain't got it like that. That's luck, is what that is.
And EDC ain't got luck either.
You don't draft a guy in the 4th, 5th, 6th round and say, man, he's going to be a Pro Bowler. He's going to be an All-Pro. That's luck, right? Yeah. But the point is, when you're a team like the Ravens, when you think that you have a shot at a Super Bowl, you don't plan to count on rookies.
No.
It's a bad plan.
Yeah. All right. So the other teams that made some moves, and you're right. The Commanders, they said we're hitting the reset button. Why? I mean, you gave up both edge rushers. That is. So what does that mean, right? So that means Ron Rivera got to be out of here because you're basically saying we're gonna blow up the team starting with the defense, and we can do that because Ron ain't sticking around. If Ron's sticking around, Ron's going to want to invest in defense, right? So that tells me Ron Rivera's out of here. They're going to be looking for an offensive-minded coach. B, could this be it for Eric Bieniemy? Could this be the one?
I don't know. I doubt it. I don't think we're going to see Eric Bieniemy getting a head coaching job. But the question for Washington is, okay, you're not paying Chase Young. I get that. Totally get that. I'm surprised they moved both of them, right? So what are your feelings about Sam Howell? Like, are you just resetting the edge position because you don't want to pay either one of those guys, and you say, hey, you know what, our interior is strong enough that we can kind of go the rest of the season and not worry about that, the edge right now, and we can kind of rebuild that later? Or are you truly going into a rebuild saying, hey, man, we don't think this team is it?
Yeah.
And that comes down to what you think about Sam Howell, who's, their first-year starter. Well, I mean, it's his second year, but his first year starting. If you're going to move forward with him, okay, you get those picks and you throw him onto the offense and try to build around him. Or are we saying we're going to take those picks and use them as ammunition to move up and try to get Caleb, Drake, Penix, Shador, one of the guys coming out this season?
Yeah. Oh man, shout out to the chat, man. You guys are active in here. All right, we got Baseball Life says right, EDC clearly ain't got no luck. Yeah, true. We got Hendo in here says we don't count on rookies, we count on undrafted free agents to be all pros.
you know what's funny though? I will say I won't say he doesn't have any luck. He does have some luck because you did get lucky with one of your picks. It was Geno Stone, but because he plays defense, you had already gone out and paid somebody to play that spot.
True.
So it doesn't really matter.
True. Zeta Beast, what's going on? Says Brian Johnson from the Lions will have the Commanders head coaching job by January 1st. Okay. All right.
You mean Ben Johnson or
Ben Johnson?
The other guy was from the Eagles. Ben Johnson, man, I don't know.
We'll see.
Was he just smart enough to say no to Carolina? Is that all it was?
Kiwi Wood says EDC lucky Buffalo didn't trade for a running back or Kansas City trade for a wide receiver.
Kiwi, Kansas City did trade for a wide receiver. His name's Mecole Hardman, and he's back home. Okay.
Sam Howell fantasy fire. Okay. So that was one trade. What was another trade? The Seahawks traded for Leonard Williams.
Yes. So you get to deal with that this weekend.
I'm about to say he's not going to play this weekend, is he?
He's going to play this weekend.
Oh, poor timing on that.
Got it. No.
What?
Say people need to be mad at the owner of the Titans. First of all, I don't believe that story for even a fraction of a second. But
what's the story?
The story is the rumors out there that they had a deal done for Derrick Henry, and then the Titans owner vetoed the deal, as if he didn't know that they'd been shopping him for weeks.
Yeah, I don't buy that at all.
So I don't buy that at all. But let's say it's true. Let's say it's true that Baltimore did have the deal done for Derrick Henry. And then at the last second, the guy who didn't have any problem trading and ascending A.J. Brown said, no, you don't. You're not trading my 30-year-old running back. What stops you from trading for somebody else?
Right. Yeah, I don't buy the story. I don't. And like you said, if he's vetoing the trade, that's when Bashai gets on the phone and says, hey, man, why are you blocking the trade? What's the holdup? Right? Is it personal? Or are you just asking for a little more? Yeah, I want a little more. All right, what do you want? I want a 3rd round pick. Okay, fine. Take the 3rd round pick, but send them over. What are we gonna do with the 3rd round pick? Like, when was the last time, guys, we've had expectations on a 3rd, 4th, 5th round pick, or even a 2nd round pick? When's the last time you guys put any expectation on any of these picks to actually go out there and perform to the level of these guys that we're trying to get? It's been a long time. All right. So give up the pick. And like you said, all right, they apparently they talked to the Raiders about Josh Jacobs and they gave you a clear price, and a 2nd round pick too high? Like, what are we talking about? A low 2nd round pick? That's too high.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I'm not mad at the Tennessee owner. Every year, this team has an excuse to not put talent and protection around Lamar Jackson. All right. There's always an excuse. And if we're going to say EDC is a good GM, at some point, like I said before, he's going to have to start throwing his hands. All right. He's going to have to go out there and start getting some in on some of this action. He can't sit here year in and year out, do nothing, and get credit for the success of this team, because Lamar Jackson ain't his success.
Yeah.
Okay. Tyus Bowser, Mark Andrews, Marlon Humphrey, none of those are his success. Those are all from Ozzie. He's eating off of Ozzie. EDC needs to go out there and be successful.
And oh, hang on 1 second here. Where is it now? Yeah, Coach says our 2023 2nd round pick is balling. Yes, he is, Coach, and that is precisely the point.
Who? Roquan Smith?
Roquan Smith.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean,
but that wasn't too high though. That wasn't too high, I think, getting a middle linebacker.
Garnett, man, look, you ain't got to come in here carrying water for EDC all night, bro. Just sit back, grab a drink, and enjoy the show, man. You ain't got to defend your boy. It wasn't nobody to make a trade for the Raiders, man. Come on.
Listen, man. I know EDC sent you a personalized message. You guys are like this now. All right. I will let him know. EDC, if you watch this show, your boy Garnett, he represented for you. All right. He represented. All right. You can rest now. Okay. Kiwi Wood says he thinks he's being a good GM is getting Peters and Campbell for a 5th round pick. I mean, it was good at the time. Yeah,
but you have to keep on doing stuff like that. I mean,
especially
not like that, but
especially on defense. You're welcome, Garnett. Young Brew, what's going on? Says y'all speaking hot facts, family. EDC is cheap and outthinks the simple. That's the fact. That's a fact.
They're asking if we feel the same way about the Roquan trade. Yes. Listen, I never questioned Roquan's ability as a player. I questioned his value to the team. And I'll always question the value to a team for a middle linebacker versus, going out and getting a guy who will help your quarterback be better, because your quarterback being better is far more important.
Yeah. Okay. So let's be clear on this. I know we're kind of jumping back and forth between topics here, but I don't have a problem with Roquan Smith. I don't have a problem with Patrick Queen. Like, I mean, I'm a Baltimore fan. Came up on defense, right? Like, I like how our defense is holding it down this year. I love it. I don't have a problem with that. But in EDC world, it's always one or the other, right? Mm-hmm. Like teams like Philly will say, yeah, we'll get both of them. We'll take both of them and then we'll get some more. Yeah. Right. But we don't do that. It's, well, we were going, it came down to Patrick Queen or T. Higgins. You guys don't remember when EDC said that, right? That was who was on his board next. It was Patrick Queen and T. Higgins, and we had a higher grade on Patrick Queen. Can't do that. Yeah. You got to get your franchise quarterback a weapon, right? Trade for Roquan Smith or get, whoever. Trade for Devontae Adams. Did he get traded last year? Yeah. Or like whoever. Trade for whoever. Let's get Roquan Smith. That doesn't do anything for Lamar Jackson. Right? Same thing this year. When it's clear that, that you have to make something happen on offense, the defense, you don't need anything else. We'll hold on to that pick then.
Mm-hmm.
we'll hold on to it. This is why we say hashtag defund the defense, right? It's not because we hate defense. We love defense. Like the way the defense is playing. But when we're in EDC's world and, hey, we don't have enough money to pay for both, we only do one, cool. That's a easy answer. Give your franchise quarterback, your star quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks in the league, some help, whether it's on the line or in his wide receiver core.
And oh my goodness, I am so glad this guy came back and decided to comment right now, because Darren, this is why I still feel the same about the Roquan Smith trade. Daniel says, no matter how good our D is, we're not stopping Hill and Waddle or Mahomes. The only way is to score more points. Now, I agree with that statement, right? Because you're not going to shut down top tier offenses.
That's
right. The NFL doesn't want you to. But the reason I put up the comment is because a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about I mentioned the Miami game from last year. And my man Daniel said, hey, that was on the offense.
You did say that, Daniel.
The offense who scored 38 points in the game. And then he was like, oh, well, they didn't score any in the second half. That's why. And then everybody was like, no, they scored 10 in the second half. And he was like, still. You're just not, and not to pick on you, Daniel, I'm sorry, but like the point is, you're not going to blame the defense ever, right? It's not going to happen. You're going to put it on Lamar, and you're going to put it on the offense. So you need to get the talent on that side of the ball. You know, I was happy they signed Odell. You know, I thought that, you know, that had a good shot of working out. I was happy they drafted Zay Flowers. You know, he looked like a good prospect, but Odell hasn't worked out as well as we had hoped. Zay, and obviously this is obvious with Zay from the beginning. You're not gonna. He's as a rookie, he's not gonna be ready to be the man on a Super Bowl team, right? And you know, you look around at these other teams, and they go out and they get real legit number one receivers for their quarterback, or you go and you get several guys who you know can play, right? And they're just not really doing it for Lamar, and that doesn't even go into how they're letting the protection deteriorate or have let it deteriorate around him.
Okay, we're going to keep this moving in a second because we got a lot more to cover. Over 100 people in here. All right, hit that like button. If you're new in here, hit the subscribe button. Okay, we got some goals that we're trying to hit by the end of the year. 2,000 subscribers is what we're trying to hit. We're over 1,600 right now, so we got less than 400 subscribers. Okay, also patreon.com/LBHTShow. We have a goal over there as well. We're trying to get to it's a lofty goal, okay? But I think we can hit it. 100 patrons. We're over 50 right now. We're trying to get to 100 patrons by the end of the year, okay? So if you're feeling like supporting, you like what you're hearing right now, patreon.com/LBHTShow. As little as $5 a month, you can sign up, and we give you all kinds of perks, including the overtime show. And what's going on in the overtime show tonight? Old story. Look at that. Old story of Jalen Rose and Water Pistol Pete, aka Skip Bayless, right? Jay Morrison was on Awful Announcing about a week ago, and he was kind of giving some insight as to what went down with that, the behind the scenes. And we just kind of want to rehash that a little bit and talk about that because I thought it was pretty funny. Also, Dabble Sweeney going in on fans, okay? Because the fan dared to ask him, why are we paying you so much money?
Yeah,
as a college coach,
because every other team in the country is going in on him. Daniel says, I'm consistent. Last week I said it's not worth investing top dollar in corners. That money should be spent on offense. Same point I'm making today. And again, you know, like I said, I do agree with that. I'm just saying that that mindset is the reason, because it's not just you, Daniel. There are a lot of people who refuse to blame the defense no matter what. The defense blew 10-point leads in, what was it, seven games last year? And it was awful. I mean, if the offense did their job, then it wouldn't matter. You're never going to blame the defense. It's always going to be on Lamar. So that money, those assets have to go into the offense to support Lamar.
Yeah. What's up, Big Cuz? Thanks for coming through, man. Appreciate everybody in here, man. For real. Really appreciate you guys. Yeah, look, I see a lot of comments here. Do you think the league put a call in to keep Lamar down? Yeah, they did. They colluded. I think there's no question about that.
Well, I mean, he's not talking about the signing.
Oh.
Yeah.
What did you say?
Bring it
If
back.
he had all the tools, we wouldn't be talking. Oh, you're talking about for the trade.
Yeah.
No, that's all EDC.
Yeah.
No, the league isn't blocking trades with the Ravens. I mean, if you're gonna block anybody, it'd be the Eagles or the 49ers. They get everybody.
Well, you don't need to block the 49ers. Brock Purdy going to do that just fine.
Yeah. Those are teams you block, right? I mean, they're asking EDC to be reasonable. He's like, reasonable? No. Too rich for my blood, right?
Yeah.
No, he's doing it to himself. So no. All right. What we
go
got
into some submitted questions.
Yes, because there's a very important question in here that's going to lead into another story. Okay?
And so if you don't know, we put up the post every Thursday morning on the community tab on our YouTube page. If you have any topics that you want us to cover or questions that you want answered, you can go ahead and post there and we'll answer it on the show, and you get some loyalty points as well.
Speaking of, it is the first of the month. Okay. So the points for last month, have you tallied them up? Do we have who is our winner?
I was gonna do it at the end of this show. Right now, Danity has a slim lead over Jay the Six.
Okay.
So I was gonna wait till the end of this show, and then because I gotta put everybody into the wheel for the giveaway and everything.
Okay. All right. So if you don't know, right, there's 100 people in here. If you don't know, we do prizes every month. Okay. And just by doing what you're doing now, participating in the chat, donating, subscribing. Look, donation right there. Okay. For $5 donation. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Leonard.
Leonard, I don't see any comment.
There wasn't a message with it. If you did want a message with it, go ahead and put it in the chat. We'll bring it up. But thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Subscribing, signing up for our newsletter over on LBHTShow.com. Okay, that get you 1,000 points easily. All those ways will get you points. We get 2 prizes away every month. Okay, one for the person with the most points, and also the second prize is a win we spiel, a digital wheel for anybody that qualifies. How do you qualify? Just get 1,000 points. That's it.
And for that, we give away a $25 Amazon gift card.
Yep.
All right, so on to the submitted questions. First up, we have. Well, we'll save that one for last.
Well, and because we do have memberships, that's what Patreon is. It's essentially memberships. We don't do anything through YouTube. If you guys don't know, YouTube takes 30 to 40% of everything. Yeah. So I don't think you want to hand your hard-earned money try to hand to us, and then YouTube says we'll take our cut now. Okay, so patreon.com/LBHTShow. That's how we do our memberships, and we give you all kinds of perks for signing up. So check that out if you're interested.
Okay, first up, we got our guy D Weezy, says with the increase in the use of Blackshear and the lack of production from Sanders, as Miles Sanders, he says right there, was the Miles Sanders signing a bust? I think so. At this point, it has been up until this point, right? But I don't think that the lack of production from Miles Sanders is an indictment on Miles Sanders. It's an indictment on the offensive line play. Mm-hmm. They've been bad all year long, and every Panthers fan was like, man, Chuba's outplaying Miles Sanders. Chuba should be the guy. And then the team was like, yo, Chuba outplaying Miles Sanders. Chuba should probably be the guy. And then Chuba went out there and had 15 carries for 28 yards because we can't block. So I think that Miles Sanders is a better player than Chuba Hubbard. I think that if they can get the O-line kind of turned around, then that will show more. But right now, I think it's kind of just going to be a crapshoot as to who, maybe breaks off a big run or has a decent day. It's kind of luck of the draw when you can't block. You can't block consistently.
Yeah, that O-line. I mean, you can't pass block or run block. That's a tough situation. Yeah, and Miles Sanders needs a little space to work.
Yeah.
Right. But yes, it still is. It's a busted move, busted signing. Okay. You know, I think he's a good player, but it's not working out. And maybe you could use that money towards, I don't know, another lineman or something.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see what they do with him for the rest of the season. You know, and I hope they haven't just given up on Miles because they can use him in the pass game, and still should be using him in the run game as well. But yeah, up to this point, it has not been good.
Yeah,
not been good at all.
What's next?
Next up, for our guy Jay, with the forever the optimist, with the Lions trading for Donovan Peoples-Jones. Do you see our new GM, once fit, is fired for not paying Burns or not making a move at the trade deadline this year? Do you see our new GM trading for Jameson Williams? Well, I have a question for you, Jay.
You know what Jay just did there? He took a wad of ones and wrapped it in $100 bill. So I got some money for you, big dog. Right? The question you thought was about the Lions, but that was a Panthers question through and through.
If Donovan Peoples-Jones is enough for a team to give up on a wide receiver who they drafted like 12 overall or 10 overall or whatever it was, why do you want him? Because Donovan Peoples-Jones ain't nothing special. And if his arrival signals the end of Jameson Williams in Detroit, it's a good bet that Jameson Williams just can't play.
So I understand you see the potential there, and he's got a lot of potential, and I think he can play. I'm not sure what's going on right now, but I think he can play. But man, aim higher, right? Like, go for T. Higgins. He's going to be out there. I suspect, B, the Raiders will be more receptive to trading Devontae Adams in the offseason, right? So that's another person you can go. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't do it by trade deadline, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Because he clearly, after that game against the Lions, had some words with the front office.
Yeah.
Right? He might have had him on the field. I got to go back and look.
Be the change you wish to see. That donation was from him. He's Leonard. Thank you very much. He says, my comment is that there seemed to be a lack of concern about taking hits away from Lamar rushing, and the same people will cry about him being injury prone. Mm-hmm. That was a big thing for us in this offseason, and hoping with the incoming offensive coordinator, Todd Monken, that they would be running Lamar less. It hasn't happened up to this point. But, the last week or two, he's run less.
Yes.
So hopefully that continues. But, I mean, up to this point in the season, up until the last game, he was still the leading rusher for Baltimore. And that is something that should have been a major focus for the Ravens, getting a guy in there who they can give the ball to 20 plus times every week, so you don't have to run Lamar. Like, in the last game, you saw, I don't remember at what point in the game it was. I believe it was in the third quarter, but they had a third down, and Lamar had, I think, like one carry at that point, and they ran, the option or the read, and he pulled it and ran. And because he hadn't done it all game, they weren't really keying in on him. And he ran for a first down easily. He still took a hit because Lamar needs to learn how to slide. But that's what you want to see more of, where he can gain those yards, not because he's a phenomenal athlete and a great open field runner, but just because the defense isn't expecting it anymore.
Well, that game, they showed you glimpses of what this offense could truly be under proper coaching and the proper talent, right? The reason why they weren't focusing in on him is because Gus Edwards already had 2 touchdowns at that point, right? And he's getting some chunk yards, some significant yards there. And, damn, like, this guy's killing us. Like, we have to zone in on him. We can't just ignore him, right? And they focus on him for one play, and Lamar keeps it and runs, and they're out of position. It only takes one step to be out of position, one way or the other, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're focusing on Lamar and you're giving your running back a little room to run, he's going to get some yards. Now, if you get Saquon Barkley back there and you're focusing on Lamar, Saquon Barkley is going to gash you for a 70-yard touchdown. Yeah. Then you focus on Saquon because, hey, we can't let him get off. And Lamar keeps the ball, and he's gashing you for a 50-yard touchdown, right? That's how it could be. But this whole we can get any running back there, and Lamar is really the focal point of our run game. That has to stop.
Yeah. So again, thank you for the donation. Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Jay, just to follow up on Jay's question, I don't know, Tua and Waddle, Hurts and Devontae, why not Bryce and Jameson? Because those other two receivers are very good and elevate their quarterback's play, and we don't really want Bryce to make a bad receiver decent. We want to just get him a good receiver. Agent E, come on, bro.
What's up, Agent E?
He's a solid running back. Let me
first of all, Dapper E. Okay, love the suit and tie there.
Agent E is so much more fitting.
Secret Agent E. That's what you look like.
Real quick, Agent E. Just off the top of your head, how many solid running backs struggle to outrush their quarterback? Leave the list in the chat.
Where would you rank him?
I wouldn't. He's not a starting running back.
No, Agent E. Because we had this discussion last year, and at the time, there's I'm not going to name names, but there was a few people that are saying, "Oh, Gus, he's top 5 running back if you give him full-time carries." Yeah. All right. What else? Is that the last question? No, it's not the last question.
One more question, and this one comes from Jeremy. Who should the Raiders hire as their next head coach? And you might be sitting there thinking, what do you mean? Josh McDaniels is their head coach. Why would they be hiring another one? They just hired him. Well, while you were sleeping, notification went out that the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, the GM of the Las Vegas Raiders, and apparently also the offensive coordinator of the Las Vegas Raiders were all relieved of their duties last night. So Antonio Pierce, yes, former Giants linebacker Antonio Pierce is taking over as the interim head coach. And Jeremy wants to know who should be the future head coach.
Also, the GM got fired. I'm not sure if you knew that.
Yeah, I said that.
Oh, yeah. The GM got fired. And a guy named Champ Kelly. I'm not sure if he's related to Chip Kelly. I feel strongly that there's some relation there.
I wanted to look. But I felt it because the offensive coordinator was Mick Lombardi. I know he's related to that. But anyway,
there's only one Lombardi family going out.
But I mean, the guy who they may be promoting to offensive coordinator is Scott Turner, and I know who he's related to. So it's whatever. But on to Jeremy's question: who should be the next head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders?
Eric Bieniemy. Listen, until he becomes a head coach, he's going to be at the top of my list. All right, he's going to be at the top. But listen, it's early enough in the season to see what Antonio Pierce can do, because where the Raiders messed up is they didn't hire the one coach. His name,
Basasha.
Yeah.
I feel bad that I forgot his name. He did a good job.
They should have kept him.
Rich Basasha, right?
Yeah.
I mean, look, we'll see what Antonio Pierce does. Aiden O'Connell is their new starting quarterback, so I imagine nothing. So moving on, I'm going to say I like this idea in the chat of Brian Flores. Brian Flores has been a head coach still. But obviously Eric Bieniemy, Byron Leftwich.
Coach Mike McDonald is going to get some phone calls. He's absolutely going to get some calls.
He is. He's probably going to be gone this year. Which, by the way, is why you need more talent and not rely on the coaching. Because Baltimore did that for a long time, and it's hard to just continually replace the coaches like that. I'm still going for my guy Ken Dorsey. I don't care what anybody says. He's going to be a great head coach.
Okay.
And I think he needs to get a look in Las Vegas. Who else?
Or you could just bring back John Gruden since you're still paying him. Did you see that tweet earlier? The guy said the combined salary because John Gruden, even though they forced him to retire, he's suing them to get his money. So right now, between his salary and McDaniel's salary, they're kicking out $81 million. God
damn, man! and he's the poorest owner.
He is.
That's unfortunate. That is very, very, very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. I imagine I don't know who this person is. I'll have to check, but I imagine whoever is the offensive coordinator in Miami will be getting a look.
Yeah.
Brian Johnson, the former offensive coordinator for Philly, or not offensive coordinator, former quarterbacks coach for Philly, who went to, I believe, the Colts with Steichen. He'll be getting a look. Ben Johnson is another good a good candidate who's probably going to be getting a job this year because he was smart enough to say no to Carolina.
Yeah. Yeah. What's up, Nitro? Yeah. Coaching equals qualified immunity.
So there's a lot of guys out there who are just waiting for their shot. I cannot believe that the Raiders picked Josh McDaniels over getting one of these other coaches. But, you know, they've got the chance to get that right now.
I agree, Danny. Just give us $1 million.
Yeah.
Give us $1 million. I can't, you can't do worse than that, right? You can't possibly do worse than what Josh McDaniels just did. They said, "No, we're not gonna do any trades, guys. You know, all right, everybody go home." And then Mark Davis woke up in the middle of the night and was like, "Hey, Josh, you up? Yeah, you're fired." I'm sorry, what? You're fired. I woke up, I couldn't sleep, right? Devontae Adams was cursing me out all night because I didn't trade him. He said he said your name, I don't know how many times. And I was like, well, what if I just get rid of Josh? And then he shut up. So you're fired. And you know what? What's the GM's name? Is it David? I can't remember his name. Travis, something like that. Yeah, he's fired too. Okay. Champ Kelly is going to be the GM. Yeah. Chip? No, Champ Kelly is going to be the GM.
Man. All right, moving on. That was our last question, so we're gonna move on now. NBA. Y'all said it couldn't happen. Y'all said no one wanted him. Y'all wrote him off, but he ain't right back. James Harden traded to the LA Clippers, just like he knew was gonna happen all along.
Yeah, man. James Harden, like he's been keeping the NBA news going all like the last 3 summers, right? Former Thunder, former Rocket, former Net, former 76er, current LA Clipper, and if you look at what's his name, man's face in that video, he wants to be a former Clipper ASAP. He did not look happy for him to be there.
Why would he be? Somebody want to play with James Harden? James Harden wore out his welcome 4 teams ago.
I mean, Russell Westbrook barely greeted him. He's like, "Hey, what's up, man?" Everybody's
like, yo, they're gonna make a big deal out of this if I don't get up. So, hey, what up, James? Yeah.
So, serious note. James Harden, he's declining. He's not completely washed, I don't think.
No, he's still a very good player. He's just not the player he used to be.
Does this help the Clippers?
No. Not at all. Not even a little bit. You came in here, you've got Paul George and Kawhi Leonard who can't stay healthy. Kawhi, who, I mean, maybe he's healthy. He just likes his sick leave. You got Russ, who has been washed for 3 years, but only on odd days. Because like he'll come in and he'll give you a triple-double on Monday, and then on Tuesday he's 0 for 16. And then you throw into that mix a guy who's not in shape and can't perform in the playoffs when you need him. No, it doesn't make you better. That's why nobody wanted him. Because
that's where he wanted to be. He wants to be on the next team every year.
Bro wants to be where he's not. That's all it is with James. He shows up at a new team. He's like, surely this is the one where the coach won't make me do anything. And then the coach was like, James, we need you at practice. And he's like, I get the hell out of here, man.
Like,
what is going on?
Shout out to Anonymous for the 333. I appreciate that. Says, can we end the argument of James Harden being better than Wade? Wade now.
I don't know who argued that.
Yeah, I don't know who argued that either.
I mean, early on, for sure, he looked like he had a chance there, but I mean, that went off the rails.
James Harden is an excellent scorer. but he was. I mean, he showed it. He can't be a leader of a team. He's not going to take you anywhere.
My man put on a fat suit to get out of Houston, and then like 2 years later was like, I want to go back to Houston.
Like, okay, I can see him saying, I want to leave Houston because they're not competing anymore. He may not like what's going on there. He liked, that Brooklyn had room for him, and hey, that's a super team over there. I got a chance to win a championship. Fine. What happened when you went to Brooklyn? What was so egregious that you had to get out? Because Kyrie took some time off.
Brooklyn's the only one I kind of give him a pass for. I understand why you wanted out of there, because my man looked across the locker room and he saw a big dose of himself, and he said, "That's what I'm like to play with." No.
Okay, cool.
I need to get out of here. I'm going to do things differently in Philly.
Okay, fine. Because Philly had the pieces to win championship too. You got Embiid out there, current MVP. Okay, one of my favorite players. I love Joel Embiid. What happened over there? What's the problem?
And Joel Embiid, because Joel Embiid, he talks like Kobe Bryant, but he acts like James Harden. He took the third game of the season off. The third game of the season.
But he showed up in the playoffs. Where's James Harden?
He shows up in the first round of the playoffs because he's too tired to go or too hurt to go by round 2.
What did James Harden do?
James Harden was on that same team with him. Okay, so and listen, James Harden's been to the finals, so I don't know
with other players.
No, fair enough. But he also took Houston to the conference finals. He's done more than Joel Embiid.
They have been to the conference finals.
Yeah, but James has also been to the finals. Is what I'm saying. So he's done more than Joel Embiid. He's a better player. He's a better player than Joel Embiid. And give me a guy who will tell you straight to your face, "No, I'm not going to try," over Joel Embiid, who's going to be like, who's going to go to the Bahamas and dunk on a bunch of tourists and then gas out in round 2 of the NBA playoffs.
But so does Harden. That's always been Harden's not.
He doesn't gas out. He's just he hates the spotlight. He hates the moment.
He doesn't
get tired.
He's got a backache. He's got a tummy ache.
No,
a headache.
No. I'm not letting that go. Because listen. He was out there for every one of those 29 missed threes. He was out there. He turned the ball over all 13 times in that game 7. Joel Embiid just sits his ass on the bench, all right, because he's like, I'm too tired. I ain't trying to do cardio in the off season. It is what it is. We're not good enough.
So Agent E says no team is going to trade him again next time they are going to release him. I think he's a free agent this year. And in fact, I think I read this right in a tweet. Harden, Kawhi Leonard, and I think Paul George are all coming up at free agency, and they don't have their first round pick or control their first round pick until 2028.
Yeah, they because it was 7 first round picks that they traded for Paul George.
Yeah.
Man,
Mikey said, they're not going to get a top pick until 2028, guys. Mikey says if they make it work, if they can be a problem, but I just don't see how they make it work. Someone is going to have to take a back seat. Right. And that's Kawhi Leonard's team. That's the whole reason they gave up everything to put some pieces around Kawhi Leonard. No, I just don't see it working. Shout out to D Weezy for a $3 donation. Says, Brodny, who is worse, CP3 or Harden?
Oh, CP3 by miles. Miles. It's not even close. Show me James Harden running around punching people in the dick.
Who's better for the team?
Who's better for their team? That's a tough one because neither one of them show up when you need them to.
That is,
but they both make you rely on them up until that point. So I don't know. That one's kind of a draw.
Olamide says Embiid was disrespectful when he said Harden wasn't what he used to be. He was honest though. I don't think Harden took it as disrespect either. I don't think he was being disrespectful. I think he was trying to stick up for him. It came out that way.
Yeah, I think he was. And Harden doesn't take anything as disrespect because he doesn't care what you think.
Right.
And he doesn't care about his performance. So
Be the change USC says that OKC owner changed Harden's NBA fate. Harden and OKC would have continued to be special.
Well, Harden wanted out.
Yeah, because
He
he was a
asked
6 man. Yeah, he was a 6 man back then.
Yeah.
So he had to lead to be the player that he is now, I think. Okay. All right. Anything else we want to talk about in the NBA? I think the Nets are playing tonight. We gotta get to 2-2. Okay. I listen. I said this before.
Gotta get to 2-2. We already there, baby.
Okay, I said
already there.
I said it already, man. Like I'm not delusional about our team. I think we could make the playoffs, but I think for a team like us, we got some young talent. We don't have a superstar. These early games matter. Okay, before team, the top teams start to ramp it up, you can steal some games early. You can get a lot of wins early, and put yourself in a good position to get into the playoffs or be well seated into the playoffs. So, as a Brooklyn fan, I'm taking these early games a lot more seriously than if you're a Bucks fan or a Nuggets fan. Okay.
No, I think he wanted to pay all. They had 4 guys that they had to pay, and James wanted to be the man on a team.
You talking about this man? The owner didn't want to pay hard.
Obviously, they wanted to keep. They were keeping Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. James didn't want to be coming off the bench playing second fiddle to those guys, so they paid Serge Ibaka and traded him.
All right, this is a great segue comment because we're gonna go to this next. Agent E says Francis won the fight against Fury, fellas.
Hey, don't come in here trying to be all controversial. You should have been watching on Ring Kings. We already said it.
Yes. Okay. So a couple things here, man. Still 75 people in here rocking with us. I understand most of you guys are here for the football talk, especially we have a high concentration of Ravens fans in here, right? But as you guys know, we like to be a well-rounded sports show. Okay.
Yeah. But before we move on to this topic, I have one question I want people to think about for next week.
Okay.
With Memphis starting out 0-4, where does John Morant end up when he comes back from his suspension? Because what's the point? If you ain't gonna be winning, why are you gonna deal with Ja? So where's he getting traded? Let us know next week.
That's actually a good question. If he gets traded, where do you think he'll go, and where would you like to see him go? Brooklyn. Okay, couple things. Hit that like button if you're new in here. Hit that subscribe button. Okay. If you listen to the audio podcast, make sure you leave a 5-star review. Okay. Let's get these things out the way right now. We discussed this topic. Okay. Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury. All right. We discussed this right here on Ring Kings podcast. So go over there, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed. Myself, Brodny, OTR Mike. It was a good show. Okay. So go over there, subscribe, check that out. But we said we're going to discuss it on this show as well because we wanted to give it look at it from more the MMA point of view. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, I agree with Agent E. I think Francis Ngannou won the fight. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, I'm sure you guys do. But Tyson Fury, heavyweight champion, versus Francis Ngannou, heavyweight champion, former heavyweight champion in UFC. UFC fighters going up against boxers, that's supposed to be a total mismatch, right? UFC fighters can't go out there and fight top boxers and expect to win, right? That's always been our stance on it, and we still stand by it because we never believed in Tyson Fury as any all-time great anything. Okay, we're not gonna say he's a bum. He's a good fighter, and what happened shouldn't have happened, right? But it's not surprising when you get up to the heavyweight division because all it takes is one punch. And Francis Ngannou, this is an exhibition fight. I don't think any belts were on the line. 10 round fight.
They had a special belt belt that they gave to the winner.
Okay, all right. Saudi Arabia puts on a show. I'll give them that. Yeah, they put on the show. But Francis Ngannou put Tyson Fury on the mat. Okay, in the 3rd round. It wasn't a slip. It wasn't, oh, haha, you caught me. No, like he put him down. Mm-hmm. And Tyson Fury was like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
And, the rest of the fight, Tyson Fury is trying to fight dirty. He's trying to hug him. He's trying to lean on him. But Francis Ngannou was a whole lot stronger.
Yeah, he's good. And that's the thing. Like Tyson Fury is not an all-time great. He's not some super skilled heavyweight. He would have been a journeyman in other eras where there was talent in the heavyweight division, but the heavyweight division is barren and has been for quite a while. He hasn't really, he beat a 39-year-old Klitschko, and he's beaten Deontay Wilder, who we all know can't really box. That's his entire resume up until now. Now it includes losing to an MMA fighter in his first boxing match.
Well, technically, he won by split decision. We gotta put that out there. People,
yeah. But he lost, and the thing is, like, he's gotten to where he is in large part because he's much bigger than all of the other heavyweights out there, or most of the other heavyweights out there. That wasn't the case with Francis Ngannou. He didn't have this huge size advantage. And you saw it when he tried to bully him, and he tried to lean on him, and Francis grabbed him and literally threw him into the corner. And Tyson Fury had never been manhandled like that, and you could see it on his face that it shook him up. Now, look, I'm not going to sit here and say that Francis Ngannou looked great boxing. He didn't. I mean, he had a couple moments. He looked okay. He looked much better than he had any right to against Tyson Fury. And it was, and by that standard, it was a great performance from him. And to be honest, if he didn't start gassing out around the 5th round, he probably would have knocked Fury out. But if he got in there with a guy like Usyk, or I would say even a guy like Anthony Joshua, it wouldn't go that way.
That'd be a problem. Well, maybe Joshua.
Joshua. The thing with Joshua, because like you said, they're heavyweights, and it only takes one punch. And Francis Ngannou is one of the strongest people on the planet. So I mean, he's got a good shot at knocking out Anthony Joshua. I'm just talking about from a skill perspective. Anthony Joshua would take him apart.
Yes,
just like Tyson Fury should have if he was the guy that everybody says he is, but he's not.
I honestly, you know how I feel about these fights. I think they're boxing entertainment, not to the extent of the Paul brothers type of thing, right? I think Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor, when they fought, I think it's Floyd Mayweather said, "Okay, you go in there and do what you can do against me. It's fine, right? I'm going to carry you for 7 rounds, and then I'm going to put you down, right? Because when you're that skilled of a fighter, you can control the match.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what your opponent does. That's completely, inferior to you. It doesn't matter what he does. He can't do anything to really put you in danger. And you can just let him, hang around for 7 rounds. I told a story before, like when I was in high school, I joined this boxing gym, right? That was in my neighborhood. And when my trainer was trying to show me how to just throw my jab, he said, "Look, you just all I want you to do is jab. When I tell you to throw the cross. I want you to jab and move, right?" He got me in the ring with one of his fighters. He was actually competing for the Olympics. And he gave this guy a grocery list. He said, "Look, make sure Jose jabs and moves. Make sure he's moving. Make sure he keeps his hands up, and I want him, to work on his cross when I say cross, right?" So we put our headgears on. We get in that ring. That guy ain't even touching me. He's just moving around. I don't hear him anytime, right? He just, I'm just, and my trainer's like, jab, right? And then when he yells cross, the guy just stops. And he's like, and I throw my right, hit him. He's like, good, right? And then we keep moving. And my hand slipped. He hit me in the head, like, keep your hands up, right? He could put me away anytime he wanted to, right? And I'm out there swinging, and I'm trying to, do everything, and I'm worn out, and he's just moving around. But that's how these fights are supposed to go. I'm getting somewhere with this. That's how these fights are supposed to go. That's how it was with Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. Everybody's like, "Oh, Conor McGregor landed a punch on him." Oh, yeah, because he let him. It's fine, right? Yeah. But when it's time, we got to the corner 7th round. He said, "All right, put him away." They put him away, and it was over, right? And everybody got paid. Everybody was happy. I thought this was going to be the same thing, right? I thought it was going to be something where they agreed, "Hey, Ngannou, I'm not going to embarrass you. This is your first fight or whatever. Go out there, do your thing. Put on a little show. And either I'll put you down in the 8th round or whatever, or you get out there with, I get out there with the decision or whatever, right?" But Ngannou put him down. It was like, I mean, you see it on Tyson's face. He was just like, damn, that hurt.
Mhm.
Right? He had that look. And I expected Tyson Fury at that point to say, okay, I was playing around with this guy. He caught me. Now it's time for me to show him what a boxer can do. And it never happened.
No, because he doesn't
Um,
have the capability.
yeah.
But like you want to talk about how the kind of MMA impact here, and the impact has been MMA fans.
Malik B said, not gonna lie, I bet Fury minus 1600 nerve wracking.
But the immediate effect is MMA fans have been feeling themselves talking about how MMA guys can cross over into boxing and win, and boxers can't cross over. And it's not that boxers can't cross over; it's that they don't have any reason to, because they actually make money in their chosen profession. But
Yeah.
The other part of that is MMA guys can't really cross over. Francis Ngannou crossed over, and he fought Tyson Fury, and that went well for him. But like Sean O'Malley calling out Tank would kill him.
Yeah.
People. There's a guy who called out Canelo. Canelo would kill you.
Yes.
But it was entertaining. It's fine, and I do like seeing those MMA guys move over to boxing and have these matches, because it's a fun what if, right? I didn't think that this fight would go this way, obviously, and I do like seeing those guys get paid, because they don't in the UFC.
Well, that's what I want to get to next.
Yeah.
Right. Everybody looked at this, especially on the MMA side, said, "Oh, this is a black guy for boxing." Right. Tyson Fury made boxing look bad. He kind of did. He kind of did. But this is really bad for UFC, B. This is really bad for UFC. I know UFC fans are sitting there and like, oh yeah, look at that. MMA fighters can keep up with boxers, whatever. It can't do it vice versa. You never see, or I mean, who's the last person? James Toney. You don't see boxers go over to UFC and try to be UFC fighters, because there's no money in it. Right. And the more success that MMA fighters have in boxing, the more they're going to gravitate towards boxing, which means there's going to be less talent in MMA, in particular UFC. And you're already seeing it happen. That's why Sean O'Malley is calling out Tank. He knows he can't beat Tank, but he knows there's a lot of money in that.
Yeah, he don't care that he's going to lose.
Right.
And by the way, like, I hate hearing that. Oh, yeah, see, these guys, they couldn't come into the cage. Greg Hardy went into your cage and won fights. He's not a fighter. He's just a big dumb former NFL player who beat up his girlfriend, and he was on UFC pay-per-views. So don't tell me that actual combat sport professionals couldn't come into the cage. It's ridiculous. But whatever. I think the biggest loss here is for the UFC, because they ran Ngannou out because they didn't want to pay him what he was worth for a John Jones fight. Now you don't have any John Jones fight because he just tore his pec, and the Stipe Miocic fight is off. And Francis Ngannou left, signed a deal with PFL, where in that deal he made more than he made in his entire UFC career combined. Yeah. And then he went and fought Tyson Fury and made way more than he ever made in MMA. And he's talking about continuing boxing. But even if he doesn't do that, he's going to bring some more awareness and name recognition to the PFL when he goes back and starts competing there. You all right there?
Yeah, somebody upstairs playing around.
But yeah, so Tyson Fury, he got the decision mainly because he has the Usyk fight coming up in December, the heavyweight unification bout for the undisputed heavyweight champion. That's in, I believe, late December. So you weren't going to have him lose a fight to Francis Ngannou by decision, and in the run up to that fight. I think it was Big Cuz saying that they're going to fight again. I'd like to see him fight again, but it's not going to happen until after the business with Usyk gets settled.
Yeah. All right. That's our combat corner. We got to get moving because we're getting dangerously close to 2 hours. And as you know, this is hashtag no 2 hours over here. I mean, we get very close to it, but we will not cross it. Okay. No, so we have to do picks, and then we got to do trivia. Stick around for trivia. There's still about 70 people in here. As always, hit the like and subscribe if you're new here. Okay. Stay to the end because trivia is worth points, and we give away prizes, and we got to do the spin the wheel at the end of this. So you want to see if you won.
Well, that's going to be next week. I gotta go through the list and get everybody on.
Okay. All right, next week we're going to do the wheel, okay, and we're going to announce the winner for last month as well, okay. All right, yes, 61 still in the chat. Hit that like and subscribe. Road to 2,000 subscribers. That's what we're trying to hit. 2,000 subscribers, 100 patrons. Patreon.com/LBHTShow. If you missed what we're going to talk about on the overtime show, right here, okay. Yes, that's a water pistol behind Jalen Rose there. Water Pistol Pete. That's what he called Skip Bayless back in the day. And that's what got Jalen Rose banned from First Take. What? We're going to talk about that. Jay Morrison recently did an interview. He was the original host of First Take, Cold Pizza / First Take. Yeah. And he talked about that whole incident. So, we want to rehash that. Also, we want to talk about Dabo Swinney, one of the worst people in the world. I cannot stand Dabo. I cannot stand him. Head coach for Clemson football, and he decided to take down a belligerent fan for having the nerve to ask him, is he worth $9 million per year that he makes?
Also, we got to get going with these week 9 predictions. But if you didn't see, Bobby Knight, the former head coach of Indiana, passed away. So anyway, on to NFL picks. Thursday night, we got Tennessee at Pittsburgh. Will Levis coming off a 4-touchdown debut, going up against Kenny Pickett and the incredibly inept Steelers offense, but I'm still going to take the Steelers at home.
Is Kenny Pickett even playing? By the way, if you want to follow along, type fast, okay? Type fast. I'll take the Steelers.
Miami at Kansas City in the game of the week at 9:30 a.m. on Sunday. Over in, I believe it's Germany, where they're playing this one.
Yeah, Germany.
I think that Miami, I don't think Miami are frauds, but I think they're a step down from the top tier. So I'm going to take Kansas City at home.
Oh, I got Miami.
Minnesota at Atlanta. Now, I don't know if you saw this tweet, but one of the other trades that went down, Ezra Cleveland, like we mentioned, got traded away from Minnesota, trading away some of their protection at the same time that they traded for Josh Dobbs, who's going to be their new starting quarterback, probably. And somebody posted it. They posted the 50 Cent video. They're like, where he's like, "Why is it F me for?" But anyway, Minnesota at Atlanta with their new starting quarterback, Taylor Heineke. And I heard a rather disturbing stat. They only have, I think they're the only team in the league who doesn't have a touchdown from outside the red zone. And under Arthur Smith, they only have 7 touchdowns from outside the red zone. And that's with having Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Cordero Patterson, Tyler Algier, and now Bijan Robinson. He's an awful coach. But I think that the offense gets a little bit of a kickstart with Taylor Heineke, so I'm taking Atlanta.
I'm gonna go Minnesota, and I just wanted to say also, that's how you flip a quarterback, Ravens fans. Okay, we were talking about Tyler Huntley. Oh, we can get this or that. We can get that for him. While his name is buzzing, that's when you move him, right?
Yeah.
Don't wait until he cools off. Okay.
Next up, I don't think JJ is back, but next up we've got Arizona at Cleveland. Arizona just traded away Josh Dobbs, but Kyler Murray is not starting yet, so taking Cleveland.
Who's starting?
Clayton Tune.
Nope. Got Cleveland.
LA Rams at the Green Bay Packers. Matt Stafford is injured. He's day-to-day. Not sure if he's going to be playing. I'm pretty sure Jordan Love's going to be playing, though, and that doesn't bode well for Green Bay. But the Rams haven't been going great recently either. I'm going to take Green Bay.
Yeah, I'm going to take Green Bay, too.
Washington at New England. It's still McCorkle, but it's not Chase Young and Montez Sweat going after him anymore. But it's still McCorkle, so I'm taking Washington.
It's at New England. They don't have the edge rushers. I'm going to go New England.
Chicago at New Orleans. I'm not sure if Justin Fields is back yet. I don't think he is. New Orleans is on that same train as Atlanta and the one that the Raiders were on where they're just horribly, horribly coached. Don't like to pick them, so I'm taking Chicago on the road.
Chicago's terrible too. I'm gonna go New Orleans is at home.
Seattle at Baltimore. Seattle with their brand new interior lineman, Leonard Williams. This is going to be, I think, a physical, close game. Geno has been playing well, but he does have a tendency to turn the ball over at times. I think the Ravens secondary gets him once or twice, and I think the Ravens win a close one. I'm going to say 26-20.
I'm going to say 27-24 Ravens. It's going to be close. I think it's going to come down to a field goal.
Tampa Bay at Houston. I mean, I don't know. I'm going to take Houston. I guess I'll take them to bounce back from losing to Carolina, but I don't like either of these teams.
I'll take Tampa Bay just because they're a little bit more seasoned.
Indianapolis at Carolina. Definitely taking Carolina in this one. They got the first win. Everybody knows that the first one is the hardest. The first million is the toughest, all that. Now the wins are just going to flow. Okay. And I'm taking Carolina over Gardner Minshew 24-13.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on this. You know, people look at Gardner Minshew and say, "Oh yeah, you know, he's capable." But Gardner Minshew is much like Ryan Fitzpatrick. Okay, he'll go on a nice little streak to get you excited. You know, get people talking about him, and then he goes back to normal. And that's going to start this week.
All right, All right. Next up, we've got the New York Giants at the Las Vegas
What's the
Raiders.
score, though? You got to give a score.
Ooh, I did give a score.
Oh, I didn't give a score.
Yeah.
I got the Panthers 24 to 13.
God damn it. Are you serious? You're just going to steal my score live on air.
That's your score?
Yes.
I'm not changing it. Okay, what's next?
All right, next up, we got the New York Giants and the Las Vegas Raiders, who are now coachless, GM-less, and OC-less. But they are starting a new rookie quarterback who nobody likes. So I'm probably going to take the Giants, I guess. But the Giants are also losers. So
I don't know.
Wait a minute. Is it Tommy DeVito starting or is it Daniel Jones? I don't know.
I don't know. What happened to Tyreek? Or Tyrod, I mean. What happened to Tyrod?
Tyrod is hurt.
Was that why they only had 8 yards passing?
Yeah, Tommy DeVito had to come into the game last week. And so I'm probably going to actually I'm going to take out my coin here. I'm just going to flip a coin on this one.
I'm going to go Raiders.
I got my Founders coin, though.
8 yards in 5 quarters.
And it says Giants.
All right.
So I'm picking the Giants.
Okay, so you got Giants, I got Raiders.
Next up, Dallas at Philly. Dallas, I don't really know what to think of Dallas. You know, they have a lot of,
every year.
Yeah, they have a lot of talent, but it never really fully comes together. I know Micah Parsons was really enjoying that San Francisco 3-loss streak. But I don't know. I'm not feeling it. I'm taking Philly.
I'm going Philly too.
Buffalo at Cincinnati. Man, they got some bookending the games this week. That's really nice. Josh Allen versus Joe Burr in Cincinnati. Buffalo's not great. I'm taking Cincinnati at home in this one.
Same. I don't know what's going on with Buffalo, man, but I'm not liking it.
And then Monday night, I swear to God, we just watched this exact game. But we got the LA Chargers and the New York Jets in New Jersey. Oh, man.
Wait, who did they play last week? I do feel like
I swear to God, I thought it was. If you had asked me, I would have said the Jets.
Me too.
It wasn't the Jets. Clearly,
was it Monday night? No, Sunday night.
Sunday night, I believe.
Who did they play last week, guys?
Let me pull it up here. Last week they played the Bears.
Oh, yeah, it was the Bears. It was the Bears.
But the Jets were on prime time also, and so it was just like, you know. But this one, I'd
be saying it's a tie.
I just don't believe in the Chargers, obviously. But they do have Justin Herbert. The Jets have Breece Hall, and they have a great defense, but it's just not going to be enough. The Chargers manage for once to not beat themselves.
Yep, I got the Chargers.
And that is it. We are done. And there's not going to be any post-game talk here, in terms of the picks. There's not going to be any bonus time because we got to get the hell up out of here because it is 9:06. So we got trivia time, and then we got to go.
Let's do it.
In honor of Josh McDaniels and his super fraudulent coaching career. If you don't know, he was the longtime OC in New England. He got the job in Denver. He traded the great white hope Peyton Hillis because Peyton Hillis was trying to sleep with his wife, and then he got fired after drafting Tim Tebow. He went to be the OC with the Rams, and then he got fired because he's a bad OC. They brought him back to New England. He got the job with the Colts, took the job with the Colts, built a staff with the Colts, then didn't show up for the press conference, said, I'm not going to be your OC, went back to New England, and then somehow got the job with the Raiders and was fired yesterday. So the question for trivia time, like I said, inspired by Josh McDaniels, is
but Eric Bieniemy is tough on his players.
Yeah, he bad interview.
But he has a bad interview. He's got an attitude problem.
The question is who had, and it's a little bit of a trick question, a little bit, but you all should know, you've all heard this story a million times. Who has the shortest coaching tenure in NFL history?
The shortest.
Yes. And I'm just thinking about it now. I shouldn't say, but
I have a name. I don't want to say, but I don't know if it's him, but like, I'll give you guys a second. The shortest coaching tenure in NFL history.
Yes. And I'm just now thinking about it. It does have a connection.
Okay. All right. People are okay. I see a couple of names in here. Just Saturday, Bill Belichick, Greg Roman. Just Saturday. Okay. Keep putting names in there. We're gonna give you a couple minutes. Okay. This is for points. Let's see. That college slime ball. Which one?
That college slime ball. I guarantee you he's talking about Petrino.
Yeah. Fun fact: Petrino is Lamar Jackson's college coach.
Yeah. Still slime ball.
Yes. Urban Meyer. No, Meyer coached a full season. Belichick with the Jets. Okay. That's a good question. Yeah, it's a good question. You want to take a guess, Big Cuz? Take a guess. Google it. It amazes you guys are so honest. It amazes me that you guys don't go and Google this immediately afterwards. You guys are sitting there like, man, I don't know. Jim Zorn. I remember when the Redskins hired him. I can't remember. Was he a hire or was he?
He was.
He's a hire. I remember Donnie Simpson was hosting a radio show out here, and he was like, "Look, I don't know much about this guy, but let me be the first to say this: Jim Zorn must go." he was spot on.
All right, so we do have 3 correct answers.
Okay.
Let me give out the points here real quick. 6, 40, there we go. All right, so the answer, as a few of you knew, was Bill Belichick, who was the coach of the New York Jets for 1 day and 0 games. For one bizarre day, Bill Belichick was the head coach of the Jets. Belichick's New York's highly touted defensive coordinator was tabbed to succeed Bill Parcells when he stepped down in 99. Strangely, during Belichick's introductory press conference, he ended up giving an impromptu resignation speech. The Jets and Commissioner Paul Tagliabue agreed that Belichick was still under contract, the Patriots ultimately traded a 2000 first-round draft pick to the Jets to acquire their new head coach.
I never knew that.
Now, for a bonus, I'm going to do this real quick. For a bonus, I'm going to give him 3,000 points. Who's the second shortest? And you've got like a minute because we got to go.
All right. I'm going to guess on this. This is a guess. I'm going to say Josh McDaniels. Because I think, because was he technically the coach? He signed a contract.
No, I don't think he did. I think he accepted the offer, and they had built the staff, and I don't think he ever actually accepted, or officially became the head coach.
Gotcha. My answer for the record is going to be Terry Wabisky, because he has been on every team. I felt like one of those teams, he came in there for like the last game of the season or something like that.
Well, we're talking about hired coaches, but we did get, and I'm shocked. One session must have been on the Googles. We did get a correct answer here. And he said, and I'm going to give you the 3,000 because I said it. I don't know why I said that. But the answer was George Allen, who, if you recall, had never had a losing season. But he was the coach of the Los Angeles Rams for 2 preseason games, and they fired him.
Wow.
Never had a losing season as NFL head coach during his 12 years. He was 118, 54, and 5. However, his second stint with the Rams in 1978 didn't go over well. Shockingly, Allen was let go after just 2 underwhelming preseason games by owner Carroll Rosenblum. He was replaced by defensive coordinator Ray Malavasi, who led the Rams to a 12-4 record. Terrible.
Yeah.
His owners are terrible. And that's it.
That is it. Okay, listen. We might have to unpack this more in an overtime show. But look, overtime show. All right. That's where you can find this in a couple minutes on patreon.com/LBHTShow. Okay. We're going to be talking some Dylan Rose, Skip Bayless, old beef. We're going to be talking about Dabo Sweeney. We're going to talk about whatever comes to mind. It's a lot of fun over there. Okay. So for as little as $5 a month, you can be a part of it. Also our Discord. If you want to donate a little bit more money, we got some other stuff like our LBHT crew coin. Okay. We got some playing cards for Ring Kings podcast, all kinds of good stuff. So go over to patreon.com/LBHTshow and sign up. But yes, we're getting out of here. It's getting close to 2 hours. B, are you ready?
I am ready.
He is ready. Thank you so much. Patrons, get ready. The overtime show starts in a couple of minutes. Everybody else, thank you so much. Have a great night, and we will see you next time. Peace.